my first book of poems. Some of these poems have been with me for a long time, but they all got a massive overhaul to make their way into this book. I'll just start with the first one. Powerline Prophets. This blinding yellow tail, singing some measure only he knows, at the treetop's edge, washed of sorrow in the gold light. His year's work finished. Fledglings flicker, almost gone in the spilled sunset, swallowing them. Invaders' starlings. Wings thrash, clatter tin cans, scrape the scene. They fall on the last of the service berries. All hunger, all flight. A racket of song spurs them away, sure of sky. Where will they go when winter howls on the wires? Stuttering prophecies with windy certainty. Sanctity sacrificed in February, relearned, shameless in the wrecked blooms of May. There you go. These early ones are sort of I guess I have a lot of work to draw on. So in putting this book together, I wanted to be able to complement Christine's book. There are a lot of love poems in here. And in many ways, part of the story, I guess, is meeting Christine and the discovery of love and the power of love in my life and in her life. But we're not quite there yet. So these are still sort of me discovering myself, I suppose. The signal passing through. New Genesis star chart, steer my hand. Clear from the dirty dirt of the last world. Sipapu, old wound. Guide me out of the underworld, through half-built megalith memories. Mud-blooded with new medicine, machine clutched, passing through a hole in the ceiling. Passing through keyholes of deeper darkness, chasing idea into being. What once was the future retreating. Wind throws powder snow. We stand by, cast in a crystal vortex, just beyond the shell of our senses in the wee small hours, searching the sky's belly for late night station WLS, ghosting over the lake from Chicago. Distressed wavelengths squelch away, resolve into testimony, amplitudes beamed off the sky to deliver their medicine only for the lonely. An eternal void sea glitters, flush against a black sky. Channels of intention scatter and glance unseen, until a crystal harness grabs the signal, locks in a note so mellow and fine, it could speak for all of us. Okay, a couple poems for people who inspired me in my life. First one's from my father. Much like Sarah, my father was a Vietnam veteran. Exactly like Sarah, my father was a Vietnam veteran. So Vietnam has been a part of my life since the day I was born. So I guess, with that in mind, this is a poem called Kairos Wind it's really about what set my father on that course. How did he go there? And the Kairos, if you don't know, I guess the way I think of Kairos is the ancient Greek god of the fortunate moment. So sort of there's a moment in time where everything goes right, and he's the god of that. And I think of it as like a wind, fortuitous wind. And if you're with the Kairos, things go right. And if you're off, things go wrong. So Kairos wind for my father. Child of promise, pushed ahead just in time to slip out. Go, lay down your noose. Make fresh promise to the widening blue. Mercenary storm cloud, thunder for hire. Take the marching cure over bastinado badlands. The wind and wave break quick to drive new doubts away. You'll fend them off when the hour arrives. A steel beginner must learn from the raw wind. Keep an open transom to the star field. Greet the dawn glow Taste the salt off Gibraltar, where a glimmer of silk cuts the light and spells the sea. Another important figure to me, a local poet who has passed, Stephen Durst. Some of us knew him. The first public poetry reading I did in Grand Rapids was at Stephen Durst's prompting for the launch of the Big Fish magazine. I had won the Diarives poetry contest here in Grand Rapids. He was launching his magazine right at the same time. So he prompted me to do a reading, and it wound up being in the alley behind the Enclave. And it was a beautiful scene, craziness. But this is for Stephen Durst. Gin at the bar, as in gin as in genie, but also as in gin. Gin at the bar for Stephen Durst. You'll find me nowhere but in this bottle. This could all be a dream, a handmade fantasy. Wasn't that me gawking from the hillside beyond the barking dogs, staring down a solitary tree? I drifted off on an ice floe. In the dark of night's open nothing, I heard the solemn trickle of 1,000 streams condense into a timeless sea. You could ask for your 3 wishes, but there are so many things I can't do for you. Here in the face of the infinite, we're drawn into the particulars. What you can gather, despite the emptiness, that wholeness, though just a bitter drop, is yours. So I guess moving on from there, professionally, I worked at Schuler Books until we just couldn't afford it anymore. And I'd probably still be working there if we could have lived off that money, but we couldn't. So I went off into the world of business, and I got a job at a design firm and designed many things for many corporations. Took many flights around the country doing business stuff. Yeah, so those experiences provoked some of these poems. Certain lightnings. And I apologize, there's some blasphemy in this one. Just roll with it. Row 34. Black window, jet engine, carving the air beside me, homeward. Somewhere over Kentucky. Medallions of white light, linked by peach grid lines, drift behind the wing. A storm cloud appears, belching sow, scattering sparks, 100 miles off. Flashes, ghost the fuselage, rattle cloud lips, shadowing the engine's curve. The unfathomable next flash. The planet tries to arc its heart back to the sun. I raveled the world back to certain lightnings that have struck in my mind. Once plasma bloomed across permafrost, antlers linked in a chain of light, 300 reindeer, lit by one white spark, collapsed in truce on tundra. Contemplating split atoms, the world itself all tantrums. Indianapolis downpour, 2 friends drunk, howl curses into the bridge belly echo. Fuck you, God, for silence. Your faith on the wire, not mine. Bridge sizzle, wrought iron, singing ozone. No message, only static. Thunder rebound up the canal and back, clapping our heads, cans crumpled beneath the span. Darker now, where light once frayed, everything, nothing, rippling together. Soft, a blast across the dune face, glass lightning bones crumb from the bluff. Slow rumble torn down by ricochet, sotto voce afterthoughts, a blacksmith dismantling the sky. You see behind me, I behind you. Flash, bang, everywhere at once. The house shakes hidden bones. 3 blocks over, a branch explodes. The cats scatter, thrown off the furniture out of that old world, welded in an implacable truce, tingling into tomorrow. This is called intensive care. I held you in my heart, ratchet moaning. I heard you weeping in the dark night of your mind. Remote ecstasy of suffering, still functioning. Worried love piped into your skull, monitored by color-coded squads. Teal who care, burgundy who don't. Sky blue at the lungs, royal blue at the heart. Tubes lead back to hanging bags, rows silently dripping. Between emergencies, ghosts complain about ordinary dying. Grape and wine uniforms share a laugh on the floor. In bed, you are apart from us, tethered to beeping pumps that live you towards life. A symphony of clues, no answers. This body chained to this bed, alive to the promises we keep. Until you twitch, shock and shimmer, details splitting apart. Eyes open, you wake up. All right, this one's called History, and it begins with a quote that just blew me away when I first read it. Yellow Wolf of the Nez Perce started his memoir with this. What I say is true. You die, I die. This is for those who come after, so they will know what happened here. History. Steel-eyed, steel-clawed men dig the street in front of our house, pull old garbage from deep down. Jumble of slighted pipes stacked, bulbous, orange-crusted cudgels once slept raw in dream-deep dirt. Replacements sit, blued, waiting, consigned in turn to darkness for the future to puzzle over. Workmen set bits of interest on the corner, artifacts from inside the ditch, a previous century's dump beneath us. Old bottles, blue copper dirt, scraps barely clinging to form, lives long gone, mineralizing beneath the maple. Here's my stub of a post in the hole I dug deep. Last scrap of concrete where the gate once stood, a puddle, a seep, a crack begun, my doing. This old garbage ravine once hosted an ancient hunt, scarred this parcel enough to leave some stone bone remnants deep. Most of what preceded us failed to arrive whole. A flow still, thin trickle trained down the drain. What fights the grind, the grist that wears the wheel, some universal thread, unbroken still, gristle no blade can shear. None could wrest this thing from its idea. Such mysteries persist, undefeatable. Ground beneath all our steps, solemnity haunts the drainage, and we must live with it. I'm really happy with how the cover turned out. This was designed by a good friend of mine, Tim Calkins, who I used to work with at a design firm. Once upon a time, we went and climbed a mountain together. And this poem came from that experience. The mountain. We sit together listening, inside a calving cloud, along a talus-mantled ridge. Pillow mists condense over lichen-covered sheets of toppled chances. With each thaw, new slabs shear off the ridge, bent to the wind, hurtled, merciless, scratched ticket falling. Everything slides, the sagging mass of millennia pressed down off the top. No mountain left, just us watching, nowhere left to climb. Sky opens, a green carpet to the far ridge, San Juans before us, Hesperus rising across a sweep of scree. Another mountain, here to there in sight, the journey long still. Parsimonious rock hop picking our way down, dog bounding first. A family of goats below watching to see what will become of us. Marmot chirps bounce across the valley, sheep ready to move. We slip back into the trees, the air humid with life again, tepid column, breath of cedar. The dog rushes through, savoring every breath that speaks, his joy beyond all scolding. Flash, Stone Mountain lightning, a bell ringing far off. The din still arriving, almost nothing, grumble of what could be. There's some more political poems here. I guess, I don't know that they're political. I tried to write a No Kings poem, but instead I wound up with this one, Brief Kings. Rulers, born of rules, sing their dominion. Brief kings, crowned by promises opposed to nature. Their songs quiver in the rain trough hollow, down in the chill of miasma, flushed out from seed, water split seams erupt from earth grip. Brute blush of life lifts the stalk by ratchet and pulse. Purple pressures reach out for the sun's warmth, clinging along crags to catch rays. Even you, burst from filth, press green charge towards crimson spray. A similar vein, billionaires. Billionaires. Have you ever met I've met a billionaire. That was traumatic, actually. Billionaires. Huge beasts block the downfall far away. You must drive the world to find them. React in darkness to a sound from the trees. The world inevitable. Somewhere that would always flower if the clay were roughened. A quiver in the lightest breath would bloom with fresh chances. Separations behind kind regards twist our delicate, eager hearts, while titans glower, stiff as statues, in far too far corners. Trapped in mountain memberships, all courtesies withheld, scaffolding theories into the void. Giants mutter their slow thoughts. Shapes dissolve into dusk. Clouded conspiratorial monsters holding silent accord in the great beyond, taught to yearn for stasis in dread of emptiness. They stir the pot, so slowly you can't be sure. They say they do, and the dust never settles. All right, a few more before we get to the love poems. Humanitas. 1. Beneath a name there is a body, a grim human display, meant to stir more disgust than fear. An indifferent hand does this work. Two figures not yet risen, she in nightgown, he still buttoning his pants, staring past the porch light. No sigh escapes to rouse the wind. The night crosses over. Gallows, madmen, brains baked in their boxes, howl while they still can. 2. The white coat steep in study, survey the body, mapped and flung open on the table. Make note, all one. Belted ankles, hands strapped across, noose lifted, all one, all one. Every window repeats the scene, shanti, shanti, shanti. 3. Beneath the atom, a grid. Beneath the grid, the detritus of language. All matters offered as words, tangled, unfinished. 4. Cut to the bone, blood at the lip, not yet spilt. I steady my hand. Drones are bombing children. I drink my coffee. My heart twists, then relents. Somewhere in a dark garage, a compressor kicks on. Okay, Grand Rapids. That first poem I read, with Stephen Durst in the alley was called Grand Rapids. The first poem he published in Big Fish was called Grand Rapids. And it was optimistic, it was hopeful about what Grand Rapids was going to offer our voices, I guess. And, it's 30 years ago now, but here's a different Grand Rapids poem. The Southland tumbles, ground up earth shed from the crust of cliff glaciers. The carved face of a 2-mile ice wall sheds eternal water, wide as our science. The grand cosmic rapids hide at dawn. Sun breaks open the clouds, a radiant flood topples ice towers, sheds diamond cathedrals. Blue ice blades spat from deep, drown and rise again. Stab out from the crust to fling boulders over fen. Now they are here, caw-caw-caw, elusive spirits, twirl vapor beneath wings, unconcerned with catastrophe. A glimmer appears in the wave pool where the torrent's mind collapses. Just before it gives way to words, a glint off the wing of the sky. A spirit in the water, not yet named, listens. Nestled in the current, a new color, an eye not yet conceived to see it. All right, one more and then I'll read some love poems. Totality. Christine and I saw the total eclipse, what was it, a couple years back now. Quite an amazing experience. We drove down to Ohio so we could be in the totality, so we could have that experience at least once in our lives. And this poem came of that. Totality. Daylight falters, sky drops. Will this darkness end? Whispers ripple, starstruck, stunned, no secret now. A firestorm signet stamps the sky. Ravaged by doubt, on the brink of reckoning, we watch old scars ease open. New darkness, stranger than death, deeper than the deepest sleep. Tender new doubts bloom, despite our bright, vain beliefs, as we give over to totality. Terror, awe, a brief reunion, whispering together beneath a hollow sun. A dark searchlight cuts through shadows, the long grave chill. Listen, birdsong, whispers. Old friends scraping songs from dreams and shed sorrow, shot through the heart by cosmic rays. Our silences burning through. Black wings rise from the ether, calling. Each living thing offers no answer. Deep sight stiffens the gaze. The ring reveals more possibilities. What darkness hollows the heart of us? Spark, new dawn, moon bows out, daylight again as ever before. We who screech like owls, too wise for mercy, too lost for spite. We watched the sun go out and imagined her loss pierced us deeper still. I think that's. Let me read some love poems. This is a really early. Christine and I, we write poems to each other all the time. Birthdays, anniversary, Christmas, any opportunity to give a gift, we write a poem for each other. So we've written. We have a box. We went around the house and collected them all. Eventually, I think we'll publish them because I don't know, they're hundreds. But poetry is a part of our life, and being a part of this community is, for us, I think, an extension of the role that poetry has played in our marriage. That being able to speak openly with each other with the words of poetry and confess our love to one another regularly is a great gift. And I feel like with each open mic and each reading that we do as a group, we give each other permission to talk about things. Like we've given ourselves so much permission to share our deepest feelings with each other. And that's what I want. That's more important to me than books or anything, is that we can feel together and accept each other at that level. So poetry in the world is what matters. And a love poem to your lover is the best kind of poem there is. An early poem I wrote for Christine called Wind Rose. Had we sung before this? Had we danced? I was straddling a rooftop, finding a new way to you, drinking the cooking sherry, singing to the trees, in love with you, my wind rose. Cured of confusion about death's ruin, the dark's disdain, just a boy on a bender. Did I ask you to save me? Just see me. You chose the rest. I was fool enough to chance it, chasing the cat along the roof crest, the sunset wailing through the trees. You were the wind rose. You let me back in through the window, cat in hand, all of us intact. Another one for Christine. Lake Superior Woman. Lake Superior Woman loves you like a birch in spring catkins. The boulders laugh and play all century beneath her waves. She offers me stones now smooth, fondled for ages by storm-warmed hands. I roll them on my tongue. Standing on the point, further out near the sky, where spiders and driftwood gather watchful of all time, drawn by the rise of an inescapable shadow, the sun, a distant burn quenching in her body. In the last dim slip, I search her agate eyes and promise myself to her dawn. When she lets me inside her, a new blaze builds till I am completely hers. Foamy flesh, the beach quivers, as if a great eagle had flown over. When she turns to me, my bones are glowing. My old wound, a great sigh, released into her mists, carried over her horizon until I disappear into her breath. All right, two more. Christine's actually older than me. Uh, she's 5 years older than me, which matters not at all. Or does it? Actually, I mean, I thought it was awesome. Um, I mean, I was happy. I was 25 and she was 30 when we met, I think is how it went. And yeah, so this was one of those birthday poems for Christine. Before me, you, which is funny because I'm reading before her. Before me, you before me. New moon's silent we, before I took breath. Heart cast 5 first years before us. This song, laughter, love scorched, unlocked our future breath, our life. A night song begun from silence to inspire arriving ingenious dawn. We before us, sky before stars, an echo leading beyond what we sing now to the future. And one last. Christine plays the ukulele. Yeah, and that shows up in this poem, along with the words of a song that she sang quite a bit, which I'm sure you all know, Dust in the Wind by Kansas. So lyrics from Dust in the Wind show up in this poem. Be ready for them. Yeah. From the bath. The mind machine marks the anniversary of a bee sting, counts every tingle to be sure. She sings downstairs, strums her uke, learning new chords. Inside my body, everything talks to itself, limps out of sequence, getting the news. The mind replays inelegant choices, reknits patterns on the fly, simulates humiliations to toughen the heart, stitches and stitches old wounds into scars. Inside, the rules stay strict, Take hold of timid organelles, break out molecular regiments, drive membranes to burst in metabolic mills, to warm the bones or sing a song. All this rush and tyranny to wash a dish, make coffee. A fortress heart under siege, a body flush with magnesium, taken by song. Her voice climbs the stairs, dust in the wind, all we are. The mind must relent. A spark of unceasing green light draws ahead, asking before asking, telling before telling. The thinnest tuft of down in the crib's pillow, the mind machine recalls. We are woven in silk to our tips, just a drop of water in an endless sea. My chest rises, falls with the glow of mineral truth. Inside everything, its opposite reflects a contrary note. Fear and hope pressed thin between layers of onion skin. Discernment born of necessity matches intent to intensity. All our dreams crumble to the ground, though we refuse to see. She calls plaintively, not to me, to the universe. I swallow the last crumbs of mind. Such a gift to rise, ego sated from the bath, the floor secure, the stairs intact, and the air still kind. Thank you.